Hello, and welcome to Book Reviews with Emma. Today I'm going to be reviewing Margaret Atwood's Oryx and Crake. It's the first one in the series, but they all can almost stand alone. And I actually had to read this in one of my English classes, and it was one of the best books that I've ever picked up. So Margaret Atwood does an amazing job of giving us this narrator that's not too trustworthy. So it flips in between times with Snowman, who is Jimmy in the future, and then Jimmy as a child, showing us how the world got to this part. This is my favorite, terrifying, world that she has created, and there's so many things that make you question, morality and if the world could ever get to this point. So it starts off with Snowman, and she leaves the readers in the dark for quite a while, and it's perfect because the timing that we find out what happened to the world is towards the very end, and this whole time it's all the build-up. We're like, yes, what is happening? Who is this? Who is Oryx? Who is this? And it's not definitively answered because Snowman sees this beautiful woman that he thinks he saw when he was Jimmy, but it could just be his imagination. It could just be 3 different women that he randomly meets. It could just be a coincidence, or Crake bringing everything up and trying to convince Jimmy to be on his side. But it was beautifully written, and honestly, there's a lot of things that make you question. So in my class, we had a debate. There are a lot of animals and foods that are genetically modified. There's these pigs that have human organs in them, and they're ferocious, and they will kill you and eat you. And it's really disturbing because they harvest these pigs to help people stay alive longer, but it's got out of hand, and there's lots of creatures that escape and run wild, especially since the world basically blew up and died. So there's that, and then the food, the chicken nuggets in here, that was just, ugh, that was so gross. It was like farm-grown chicken nuggets, never came from meat, it's just glob of chicken, and that was disturbing. Oh, not to say the least. There was also this huge part of where Jimmy and Crake were friends when they were younger, and what they do when they're kids is go on these websites where you can watch people get murdered or raped or stolen and kidnapped, and you just watch it and they're so captivated. And that's where Jimmy meets, he sees the girl that he believes is Oryx for the entire book being taken, and it's so disturbing to see, because all of the things that she writes about, they're not something that's really going on now. Of course, a little bit, but the world could transition to this. We could break through and go down this terrible path, and everything would end. So another main thing that also happens in the book is the people that Crake created, the new race of people. So they're referenced as Crake's children, and Crake tried to create this perfect, beautiful race of people to live on after him because the world was so ruined. And seeing Snowman get along with them, because he's one of the last humans, at least he thinks that for right now, and getting along with them when he's this scraggly old man that smells, he doesn't like sun or water, he doesn't like being alive, pretty much, and he's insane. And then these perfect children, beautiful skin, beautiful eyes, names of past presidents and everything, and they're the perfect genetic humans. In the mating ritual, that was just weird. And it's just really interesting to see it all unfold, and Snowman, slowly you realize how insane he is, but then you realize why, because all the stuff that's happened in his life. Well, he finally, Crake destroyed the world. He, released this huge pathogen in this pill that Jimmy helped him with because Jimmy trusted him. And Crake is an evil mastermind. He's he's really, really smart, and he decided that it'd be better to just restart the entire world, and he's gonna keep Jimmy alive to watch over them, and that's it. As like his own personal hell to keep Jimmy one of the last people. Of course, there's a few that are like immune or never got the disease or whatever, but the world's a wasteland now. The book never really gets boring because there's so much to unpack during the entire thing. It gets slightly confusing between all the secrets that we don't really understand yet, but she unfolds them and ties them in a bow and makes us so uncomfortable, and we finally understand them and what's going on in the world. I really enjoyed this book because it made me question myself and what's already happening in the world, because there's already debates about genetic modification and all that kind of stuff. And then there's also debates about like policing online and the internet, especially with what's been going on in this. It's also a fairly quick read, only like 370-ish pages, and it's pretty compelling because there's not a lot of downtime in the book, especially switching between past and present. I tend to really like books that show us the main character really falling apart. We get to see the whole action like through this insane snowman's eyes, and Jimmy, who is kind of a terrible kid, we get to see what's going on, why all the things have happened, and especially with Jimmy told to protect Crake's children with their luminous green eyes, and see where the world goes. At the end, I believe Snowman dies. He finally gets to have peace, but it's left open pretty much, and I kind of wish that he did pass away, just because I think that's what he wanted. And after he finally realizes all these things and he goes back and sees the dome, then he needs peace. He needs peace and quiet. And someone else can come and take care of Crake's children, the whole new genetic race that is gonna rule the world and probably destroy it all. I haven't read the next books in the series yet. I'm going to soon, and I will keep you updated. Tell me what you thought of the book. I thought it was super good, and I'd rate it pretty highly, especially for something that I had to read, and now I own them. Margaret Atwood is a genius in writing, so she has written The Handmaid's Tale. I'm sure some of you have heard of that, and it's beautiful and scary. Alright, hope you enjoyed. Tell me what you thought of the book.